I got a half a brick of coke in my underwear. I got 20 bags of weed on my sleeves. He's like, turn around, get on the cart. I get on the cart. Well, I'm like, I'm going to federal prison. I'm done. He searches my back pocket. He finds a bag of weed. A bag of weed. I almost start crying to the officer. He's like, calm down, calm down. You know, do you have any more stuff? Like, I was like, nah, it's just that one bag. I promise, blah, blah, blah. And I'm turning around and my is like slipping. And I was like, yo, officer, but I gotta pee, man. I gotta pee out here. And he's like, you in the woods, go behind the tree. I go behind the tree. I take the coke, I stuff it, and then I go back. He's already by his cop car. He's like, come over here. He made me sit in his car. I got a half a brick of coke. I got 20 bags of weed, and we start talking about the Yankees. I'm Coss Marte, and I had a thrill selling drugs. I would say the first actual crime, it's horrible, but me and my cousins used to pee off the fire escape and try to aim at people. That was what we did when we were kids, you know, because our playpen was the fire escape. Then I turned like 6, 7, I'm on the streets selling candy, hustlers making money. That was it. We were already expecting our lives to be in the system. I already knew, like at 13, that I was going to jail. We grew up super duper fast, you know, just being out on the street, super late, you know, watching everything, you know, in our faces, you know, prostitution to drug dealers to all that stuff in my face, you know, people shooting up heroin right in my face. What we thought success was being rich. I lived in a tenement apartment, you know, like there was 4 of us sleeping head to toe on a mattress. And I knew that we were not wealthy. I knew that outside of what we lived in my neighborhood, the Lower East Side, there was wealth outside of it. When I was a kid, it was like, damn, that's the real success. You know, people smiling, have a fucking poodle and a yard and whatever, you know, like that. We didn't have none. I had a fire escape. I always, as a kid, thought shortcuts was the way to succeed. The way you think about shortcuts, you know, that's how we succeed and progress in life. And so for me, it's just like, why not take a shortcut and try to get a step ahead of everything? It's like when you cheat on an exam and you get 100 and you get the extra bonus point, 105. Like that felt, you know, instant gratification when you got that stuff, you know? I went to the Jesuit school in the Lower East Side. I was like the kid that was going to school high all the time at like 10 years old. People used to call me Smokey the Bear in class. People started smoking as they started growing, and so I would get nickel bags, like $5 bags, and I kept doing that, you know, until I told my cousin, yo, like I need an ounce. And so he got me an ounce. I bagged it up. I made like $300 off of it. I'm moving a couple ounces here and there in middle school, high school. I started getting more into like getting a couple pounds. The only reason I came to school and went to class was because I was selling weed. That was like the beginning of me dealing. From weed, then I started selling a whole bunch of other stuff, you know, on top of weed. My craziest story was this weed connect that I met on Delancey Street. It was me and my boy Joel. We standing on the line of McDonald's. McDonald's just opened on Delancey in Essex. This Indian guy, he's standing on the line and there's so much cash just like almost falling out of his pocket. It was like crazy, and my boy Joel was like, yo, let's pull that cash out. And I was like, nah. I went up to the guy. I was like, yo, your cash is falling. And he just paused. Oh, he's like, oh, no, thank you, man. Thank you. Nah. He's like, yo, you guys smoke weed? I was like, I run these streets, you know? I was already like, you know, my head was this big. I was like, you know, selling a lot of weed at that time. I was selling like pounds. And so he pulls out a pound in McDonald's. We're in the line. I got weed. Y'all smoke weed? And he gave me the whole pound. He was like, yo, take it. And I'm like, yo, what you want for it? He's like, just take it, give me $500. And I was like, I don't got it right now. He's like, no, pay me later, take down my number. His name was And I was like, get the out of here. And I grabbed that I put that thing under my shirt. And me and my boy got out of McDonald's and we just started bagging up. And I had hydro, so the streets were like going crazy when I was selling that. And it was just nuts because I had everybody just smoking like blunts that the size of what Snoop Dogg smokes, back then. Coke comes into play. I was blowing up. I was making like $3,000 a day, selling Coke, and then I was making like maybe $1,000 in weed. My friend who came up to me and was like, yo, I need some work. We went uptown, bought like a couple ounces of Coke, built that from the ground up. We took over. We stopped every single person that we thought that was sniffing Coke, smoking weed on the streets. Whoever passed by us, they knew that we sold, because I spoke to every single person. And that was our marketing strategy. Graduated high school, top in math, and got to go to UAlbany. That summer was wild. I think that was the summer of the blackout of New York City, which was a crazy time because we had so many deliveries, we couldn't get around the city. We had a Fleetwood Cadillac. This thing was a gas juggler and a boat to drive in New York City. Like that day, everything broke down, traffic broke down, trains stopped. So what we did, we trekked it all the way out to Fifth Avenue and Sunset. There was a scooter store, and we bought all these mopeds, and we just started making deliveries around the whole city, like around cop cars. Cop cars were trying to chase us. We on sidewalks, we going. Now you could do that. Like now after COVID, it's like, a normal thing. Back then, like you getting chased down the block, they're gonna try to hit you on a cop car, you know what I mean? So you fight or flight, and you gotta come up with some in like 2.2 less than a second. Are you gonna throw the crack in your mouth or are you gonna put it up your ass crack? I was out in the streets 24 hours a day, like no sleep for 3 to 4 days, hustling. But I had like $5,000 to $10,000 in my pocket, cash, balling, doing whatever I wanted to do. And so that was like that was the street mentality that I had. I just took a lot of risk in my life. I still take a lot of risk. The craziest that happened to me that I got away with was with a half a brick of Coke. I'm going up to Vermont. We go out there, I'm driving out there, and we run out of gas. So we catching the hills. We pass the speed limit because we catch a hill. Boop, 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 boop. They get pulled over. I'm like, I had like 20 bags of weed on me. I had an Avrex jacket. I take all the weed out of my pocket while he's walking over, and I'm just stuffing it in my sleeves. And I was like, everything okay, officer? They was like, yo, stopping you guys for speeding, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no problem. Step out of the car. I'm like, I got a half a brick of Coke in my underwear. I got 20 bags of weed, in my sleeves. He's like, turn around, get on the car. I get on the car. He opens up wide. My shit is full. I'm like, I'm going to federal prison. I'm done. He searches my back pocket. He finds a bag of weed. A bag of weed. I almost start crying to the officer. He's like, calm down, calm down. Do you have any more stuff? I was like, no, it's just that one bag. I promise, blah, blah, blah. And I'm turning around and my is like slipping. And I was like, yo, officer, but I gotta pee, man. I gotta pee out here. And he's like, you in the woods, go behind the tree. I go behind the tree. I take the Coke, I stuff it, I tuck my in, and then I go back and he's like, he's already by his cop car. He's like, come over here. He made me sit in his car. I got a half a brick of Coke. I got 20 bags of weed. And we start talking about the Yankees because I had a Yankee cap. He's like, what do you think about Derek Jeter? All this. Yo, I love him, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yo, you know what? You're a good guy. Since you like the Yankees, I'm gonna write you a ticket. That was the day I got away with. I feel like my life was sunk, Well, I was getting on planes with half a brick of Coke, crazy stuff like that, you know, through right on the plane, JFK, LaGuardia, you know, I put it right in my underwear. All I had to do was pass the mag. I just make sure I had no mags. I'm getting on that plane and then I'm coming back. Yo, I remember getting stopped by TSA coming from Burlington, Vermont, and I had $100,000 in cash. Yo, I went through the mag and they searched me. They saw all the cash. They were like, what the f you do? I'm like, no, I just sold my car, you know, straight cash. You know? And I just came up with crazy stories like that sometimes, like just to get away with crazy like that. The day I got caught, I remember one of my boys calling me. He's like, yo, everything okay with this guy? And I'm like, nah, why? He's like, yo, he's not answering his phone. You know, like I got 40 customers in the queue waiting to deliver. And I'm like, f it, I'm gonna do this shit myself. I went all the way to my stash house in the Bronx. I remember like meeting up with my friend. She was dropping off 5 pounds of sour diesel in the house so we could bag it up. And then I was picking up like a couple 100 bags of coke. I go in there and we both step out at the same time. This white dude, tall, 6-something, this Detective Joseph King from DEA, boom, boom, you know, grabbed me. They threw me on the car, cuffed me. I'm panicking, you know, my nuts are going inside my belly, bro. You know, like that's panicking, you know, like shit like that. They found 1.5 kilos bagged up of coke and 5 pounds of weed. They got me in a minivan and just laughing at me, and I'm going all the way down to the PSA 4 on Avenue C. And so I see all my co-defendants in different cells, and I'm like, shit is done, it's over, you know, like the whole operation is over. They didn't know I had like a couple extra 100 bags of coke on me and my nuts, because I was gonna go make that delivery. So they take me out of the cell, they search me, and just a few 100 bags of coke drops out in the bathroom. They're like, this motherfucker's full of coke, search him again. They were trying to threaten me with kingpin charges, like 24 to life. And I was like, I'll take 24 years right now if you let my whole team go. You know, they don't got that. I'll take responsibility for this. And that's the reality that a lot of people, when you in that time and you're facing that all that time, like, all you can do is be humbled and pray, you know, and pray for a miracle. So Governor Spitzer was the governor of New York State at the time. He cheated on his wife with a prostitute. Governor Patterson comes into play. First thing that he pushes is reform on the Rockefeller laws. More than 60 grams of coke, you had life behind your sentence. So they took that life out. They were gonna give me 12 to 24. My lawyer said I could get you 12 years. I'm like, f it, I'm gonna do 12 years. I get to court, ADA suggests 7 years. The judge says, 7 years, what do you think? I said, guilty. You know, I was laughing, you know, like my dad and my brother was in the stands, in the back. They looked at me and they called me and they was like, are you f***ing crazy? You got 7 years and you laughing in court. Motherfucker, you don't know how much time I was facing? I feel blessed that I got 7 years right now. Being inside the jail and being sneaky and sneaking in drugs into jail and getting away with shit like that. I'm going in there learning how to become more of a criminal. You know, I'm going in there with the mindset of like, hey, I'm gonna come in here and find whoever is that Colombian connect that's gonna transport me whatever I need, you know, to New York so I can provide the block with whatever it is. You know, stuff like that. That was the mentality that I had, you know, and it was fun. You know, at that time, like, getting away with it was fun. I've been in jail searches where, like, you got the ESU, the Emergency Service Unit, coming into Rikers Island, and when they come in, they tearing everything apart, and you squatting down, coughing, bending over, all that shit. You know, so that shit, you better know how to hide your shit. I was smoking in the vent, so in Rikers Island, you got the small 9x6 prison cell, you got like a toilet in the corner, and then you got a vent on top of that toilet. That's the vent that saves you, because you gotta stand on that toilet to smoke, so the smoke doesn't go out of the cell and then it smells the whole tea, and then the and cops coming to search. Sometimes I used to get locked up with weed that they used to not find. You know, there's been times where like I went in the system with 20-something bags of weed and I'm selling the weed inside the central bookings through sending it through milk cartons from one side to the other, you know, or doing like kites. We used to do kites like with the strings, you know, tied to with the bed sheet strings, and you swinging it from cell to cell. Bringing in weed was crazy because you in the visiting room, you in a jumpsuit in Rikers Island. So in order to get your arm like in your suit and put it up your butt, you know, it's you're gonna get caught. You know, you got a female that's bringing stuff from inside. She's got it inside her. You're gonna either swallow it or you're gonna put it up your butt, you know? So I used to go with the Vaseline behind my ear, you know, get it, you know, put it in my hands, get through the hand-to-hand transaction. I'm talking like this. So I'm rolling up my sleeve and the drug is right there, or I'm putting it right here. And now I'm chilling. I'm in the dance floor, we call the visiting room the dance floor, for an hour. And so once they say, yo, your visit is over, now I'm going to get searched. Now everybody's getting searched, 20 at a time. So you're going through these double doors, everybody steps in here. Now the next door is one at a time. While I'm in that hub, people already getting ready to get searched, so they taking off their, so I'm taking off, boom, slipping, done, you know, and now I'm going in through that door, squat, cough, open up your mouth, move your nuts, you're done, you know, get dressed.
You would shove it up far enough that if you squatted or coughed, it wouldn't come out.
Yep. When I was locked up, I had a lot of health issues. You know, doctors told me I was overweight. They said if I didn't start eating correctly or exercising that I could probably die of a heart attack. I started running the yard nonstop, going into my cell, dips, push-ups, jumping jacks, whatever you name it, calisthenics. And I lost over 70 pounds in 6 months. And then I started a workout group with friends that were in the prison yard. We helped over 20 inmates who's over 1,000 pounds combined. So I took that workout method and I was like, I'm gonna do this when I come home. I came home, first day, 6 o'clock, I went out to the park. I started going after females wearing yoga pants. I tell them, yo, I got a boot camp class, I'm training in the park at this time, blah, blah, blah. And I just kept doing it relentlessly, nonstop, until it started popping. I remember having classes of like 40 people in a room where I couldn't fit people. And I started hiring people coming out of the prison system, and that became my mission. And so today, ConBody hires people coming out of the prison system to teach fitness classes and also do personal training. Legalization in New York State happened in 2021, and then they wrote the rules. You know, they felt, I feel like this is like redemption, poetic justice, because we were over-policed for small bags of weed. I was arrested for small bags of weed. The law was written, and it says Dominicans in the law. It says Puerto Ricans, it says Mexicans in this MRTA law that New York State wrote to basically give back to us. You know, it's my reparations. And for me, I was able to apply to get a license to sell weed because I had a net profitable business for at least 2 years, which has been ConBody. I've been running for 11 years. I've hired over 100 people coming out of the prison system. I wanted to implement the same concept with ConBud. So ConBud and ConBody. And so we co-occupy our places in Delancey and Orchard right now. ConBody's on the second floor, ConBud's on the first floor. And if you want to get your mind right, you go downstairs. You want to get your body right, go upstairs. And there's a lot of obstacles with this, you know, because right now I'm fighting big corporations coming in, trying to gobble up the industry with cannabis. It's different, you know, because you have the streets fighting the streets with guns, knives, fists, you know, and then you have corporate America fighting with a pen. Same feeling in my heart, same feeling in my stomach, same turns that I felt back when the cops were pulling me over and I had to fight people on the street and all this shit. I'm feeling with corporate America when they pull out their pen and they want lawsuits and all this bullshit, you know, that's same adrenaline rush. My kids, I don't hide anything from them. You know, my son, he sees everything because my parents hid everything, especially like Dominican parents. They will say like, when my 4 years that I was locked up, they were telling my grandmother that I was in a university getting a master's degree or some shit. You know, like that, like that, let's just be real. You know, let's be real with each other. Let's talk. Let's figure it out. You know, and if we be honest and transparent, a lot of shit starts getting worked out. You know.